Welcome to Heavy Metal Monday. Hey, it's Coach Mike DePriglione coming to you live from Varsity House Gym. Welcome to another edition of Heavy Metal Monday. I hope you enjoyed my last edition with Coach Joey helping me how to set up the correct deadlift. And my song that week was Hatebreed's Ghost of War. And now we're on to a new edition, a new exercise, and a new song. Today's exercise is going to be the safety bar squat. And we're going to have some cool accommodating distance with the chains. Recently, I said in previous shows that I had an injury to my bicep that required surgery. That was about 3 months ago. And about my first month of training coming back, when I started squatting again, I started incorporating the safety bar squat into my regimen so I wasn't externally rotated on a regular bar. Now I'm back to squatting on a regular bar, but the safety bar squat was an exercise I was using not only when I got hurt, but also before as well, that I used a lot as variation. So when I was performing the safety bar squat when I was injured and coming back from injury, I was actually doing it with one arm. And the reason why I was using it, so like I said, so I wasn't externally rotated. I would actually have one hand on the right pad and my left hand was out. And it was very difficult to keep stability through my abs and my lower back, being that I could not push off with the other arm and flex and push up on it. So the safety bar is obviously is a terrific tool to have in the gym, whether or not you're coming back from an injury, whether you train baseball players, quarterbacks, throwing athletes, so that once again they're not externally rotated on the barbell, football players in season as well. So it's really a great tool to use. It really protects the shoulders, and it's really an important tool to have into your gym. So today we're going to perform the safety bar. I'm going to show you how to perform it. We're going to be doing it on a box squat. I'm not going to go too crazy into detail on the box squat. In my previous video with Shoto, we talked about the box squat. So today I just want to show you the setup of the safety bar and talk about the chains a little bit. And let's get going. Let's do it. Okay, guys, so we're going to get started here with the safety bar squat. Inside the gym, we have 4 different kinds of safety bars. We have 2 that are just pad holding ones, where you just hold the pad. And we have 2 other ones that actually have extensors that you actually hold like a little mini bar. Either one's really good to use. I actually use the one with just the pad a lot, just because I like it a little bit better. And I'm going to get in here. I'm going to execute a rep, and I'm going to talk about the chains and what your thoracic spine is doing when you're doing the safety bar squat. So let's do it. So you're going to get set up, walk in, grab the pad handles, get underneath the bar like you would do any other normal squat. Take it out of the rack. You're going to feel the chains moving a little bit. You're going to walk back. Feel your calves on the box, toes on a slight angle outward. You're going to breathe in. Sit back. Control, pause. Fire up. Breathe in. One more rep. The difference between the safety bar squat and a regular bar squat is that the safety bar puts a heavier load on the neck and upper back. When you're performing the safety bar squat, if you watch me here from the side, as I come down, the bar is heavy on my neck and traps. So if I begin to struggle with a rep, it's going to create this action, okay, which pulls my thoracic spine in and my upper back in. What we want to do is to fight that action by pulling our shoulder blades back, keeping our abs tight, keeping our lower back arched, and making sure, okay, that our thoracic spine is tight, engaged, so that doesn't allow this action. So what this helps with, the safety bar, is it basically aids a bad squat. So when you watch individuals struggle on a regular barbell squat, you'll see when they come off the box and they begin to struggle, they'll start doing this, right? Well, the safety bar puts you in that position at times. And if you can get strong coming out of that position, well, it's going to aid a bad squat and hopefully lead to better technique and a better regular barbell squat. The reason for the chains is just to add some more accommodating resistance to the lift. Each chain here at Varsity House Gym weighs 20 pounds on each side. So So all we're trying to do is load the weight a little bit heavier at the top, so the athlete or the client feels a little more weight at the top than normal. But when they sit back onto the box, or if they're doing a free squat, as they sit down, the chain relaxes on the ground more, and it's the actual bar weight that you have. So the goal would be at the top, the weight's heavier, at the bottom, the weight's a little lighter, and you try to get out of the hole either off the box or free squat as fast as you can. As you start to come up, the chains start to come off the ground and the lift gets a little bit harder, so it kind of challenges the lockout position of your squat. Just a good way to add a variation to your squat, and hopefully it helps your regular squat without the chains on, or without bands or any other accommodating resistance, which I'll show you later in future other shows. So that's a safety bar squat. Hope you guys enjoy that exercise. If you have a gym, you work with athletes and other clients, you should really make sure you have it. It's a great tool to be utilizing. Now it's on to my heavy metal song of the week. Okay guys, it's on to my heavy metal song of the week. 2 weeks ago, I gave out my first trivia question on my Heavy Metal Mondays, and that trivia question was answered correctly by a very long-time client of ours, Jeanette. She basically Facebook messaged me at 6:30 in the morning and gave me the correct answer. And the question was what was the original songwriter of the song Ghosts of War, which I did was the cover by Hatebreed, and the correct answer was Slayer. She got the correct answer, and she wanted me now to I wanted to give her her dedicated song to her. She is a big Grateful Dead fan and Fish fan. Okay, not necessarily the most heaviest of bands. They're a little bit of a jam style kind of music. So her song that she chose was a song called Carini by the band Fish. I don't know too much about that band. She gave me a couple pointers about them. I checked the song out. It's about 13.5 minutes long. It's a big jam session pretty much. They improvise a lot of their music. So from what I found out was their live music was a lot better than like their recorded music, because you never know what they're going to pull out at a concert. But it was supposedly one of their heavier songs that Fish did. So that's to you, Jeanette. Thank you for reaching out to me and getting the correct answer. So the song is Carini, dedicated to you by Fish. Okay, now on to my heavy metal song of the week. Okay, this week I'm going to change it up a little bit. Okay, I know I've been doing a lot of heavy metal influences like Slipknot and Pantera and Hatebreed, but I also have a very big influence on early 90s rock and roll as well. And we're talking about like the early 90s grunge era, and one of my all-time favorite bands, top 5 all-time, is the band Alice in Chains. I've been listening to these guys for a very long time, so I'm pretty happy to put them on this show. Their song Rooster is going to be the song that we're going to do as our heavy metal song of the week. Alice in Chains, in my personal opinion, really broke off the scene in the early 90s with really some great acoustic songs, and their Unplugged album was fantastic. It's really one of my favorite all-time albums, one of my favorite Unplugged albums as well that MTV put on several years ago, back in the early 90s. And the song Rooster is one of my personal favorites. And Alice in Chains took a hiatus for a pretty long time. Unfortunately, the lead singer passed away, and they took a long time break, but they came back with an album called Black Gives Way to Blue, and a lot of hardcore Alice in Chains fans from the early 90s weren't really too happy with that album, because they weren't happy seeing a new singer trying to sing that Alice in Chains kind of feel. But I really enjoyed the album, and what I think people need to understand is that Jerry Cantrell, the lead guitar player, wrote a lot of those songs and had a pretty big vocal inspiration on a lot of those songs as well. So not only in the new album did he sing, but he also wrote, and I think he still had that Alice in Chains feel. And they recently put out another new album, and I've really enjoyed the new stuff, the old stuff, and this is going to lead me to my new trivia question. And my new trivia question for this week is going to be, who is the lead singer of Alice in Chains? Unfortunately, he passed away. He was one of my all-time favorite frontman. Contact me through social media, contact me through here in the gym. Okay, the first person to tell me who the lead singer of Alice in Chains was gets a dedicated song to them on a future show of Heavy Metal Monday. So that's it here, guys, for me today. Thank you for joining me for another edition. Check back in next week. If you like what you saw, hit the like button below. Make sure to leave me a comment or a question. I'll sure to get back to you. Make sure you check us out at varsityhousegym.com, and I'll see you guys next week. Until then, stay heavy.